This is KGW News at noon.
All the students are pretty shook up, whoever was involved tonight.
And understandably so, after a brick column at Lewis and Clark College collapsed, killing one student and hurting two others. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Brenda Braxton. Monday was the first day back to school at the college in Southwest Portland. This happened just after 8 o'clock last night near the reflection pool on campus. Portland firefighters tell us 6 people were sitting in 3 hammocks tied to the column when it collapsed. A 19-year-old man died and 2 18-year-old women suffered injuries.
This wouldn't matter what day it was. This is tragic, but these kids are starting to adjust to college life, some of them for the first time, and it can be very challenging for them when they have this trauma.
The school and first responders haven't released the name of the student killed or those who were injured. KGW's Mike Benner is covering this story today. He'll have updates on the news at 4 and 5. Well, it's back to school in the Portland Public School District. Most students start either today or tomorrow. PPS does a staggered start, and high school freshmen didn't have to start until noon today. It's an especially big day at Lincoln High School. The brand new building is open for the very first time. Superintendent Guadalupe Guerrero says it's nice to focus on learning instead of COVID protocols.
The pressures of pandemic and everything else, our educators have been absolutely outstanding. I'm so re-energized to see them engaged back on teaching and learning. They've always been dedicated to that, but for us to be able to start the school year really squarely focused on learning, what a concept with the Portland Public Schools, but we're here and excited about that.
Construction crews are demolishing the old Lincoln High School that sits right next to our KGW studios. A new football field should be done in 2023. Well, summer vacation is over, but not the hot weather. You know, the coast we can always count on a few degrees less than here in the metro area. What a pretty picture from our Cannon Beach Skycam. So, Rod, you have a heat advisory today. Who all does that cover?
This includes much of the inland areas. So on the map, everything in this orange color from Eugene all the way up to Seattle, up and down I-5, heat advisory out through the gorge, Pendleton, so parts of the Columbia Basin, and then you skip over to Baker City and Birdseye. I do want to point out there are temperatures in Central Oregon today that will be at least upper 90s, so not technically in the heat advisory, but downright hot this afternoon. So where are we right now? We're up to 84 degrees. Usually, if you're thinking you have a chance to hit 100 here in our local area, you need to be usually in the mid 80s at noon, and we are right there. So the planner, I've left these numbers alone. Forecast high potentially gets up to 98 degrees. If we make 98, that will tie the record for today's date. And then if you are thinking, we got to get the dog out for a walk at some point later, it could still be 86, by the way, at 8 o'clock. It's about time the sun's starting to go down. Here are the other numbers at high noon. Pendleton leading the way, it looks like, at 91. The Dow's 88. Bend 79, but temperatures will be in the 90s easily by the time you jump up into, say, the Madras area. The coast is cooler despite that sunny sky that Brenda showed you from our Cannon Beach live camera. So we'll take a look at the entire state and how long some of these heat advisories are expected to last. That's coming up.
Thank you, Rod. Well, Portland is on pace for another record-setting year of gun violence. Over the weekend, there were 10 shootings, 3 of them deadly. Catherine Cook talked to some of the people impacted, including a mother of 4 who was held hostage.
He told me to drive or he's going to kill me.
Cree, who asked us to blur her face, wasn't sure she'd survive early Monday morning. She says she was driving for Uber when she picked up a man on the corner of Southeast 26th and Powell. Once inside, Cree says the man took her cell phone, threatened to shoot and rape her while forcing her to drive.
He made me look him in the eyes and told me that he was the devil and he's going to bring me to hell. I sat and I thought, how am I going to get out of this situation so I can make it home to my kids?
After about 10 minutes, Cree saw an opportunity. She said she needed gas and pulled into this station on Southeast Grand.
I unbuckled my seatbelt and I hopped out and I screamed at the top of my lungs and people came and just flooded me.
Cree and police tell us the suspect left the gas station, then returned and fired a gun. No one was hurt.
People don't care anymore. I just can't fathom this kind of thing happening.
Just a few hours before that, cell phone video posted to social media shows gunfire and chaos at an illegal street race. It happened on Interstate 5 over Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Police say hundreds of people were gathered, blocking traffic. Watch as this white van drives through and someone hits it with a baseball bat. When the van backs up and turns around, someone else pulls out a gun. You can see him shoot the van multiple times. Police say at least 3 people were hit. An hour before that, more violence on Southeast 122nd and Burnside. Police say someone shot a man and woman who suffered non-life-threatening injuries. You can see bullet holes at nearby Plus Dispensary. Nathan Casey lives nearby and hates that what's happening feels so typical.
Over the last year that I've been in this neighborhood, it's gotten pretty bad. It's just escalated in the crime rate. Sometimes we get scared to go outside sometimes because, it's like that. We don't want anything to happen.
He wishes it would change. So does Cree.
The city is bad. Portland is terrible right now. And obviously we would just like to see people be decent humans.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Family, friends, and other community members gathered at Drake Park in Bend last night to remember the 2 people shot and killed inside a Safeway store Sunday. The gunman killed 84-year-old Glenn Bennett when he first entered the store. He also killed 66-year-old Donald Ray Surratt Jr., who worked there at Safeway. Police credit Surratt with confronting the gunman. People at the Vigil expressed disbelief about what happened.
Well, shocked that things, a Sunday afternoon, I think it was, and we're all just doing your own thing, and then it just stops everything, and you feel, I think, confused and, of course, sad.
Police say the 20-year-old shooter took his own life. During a search of his car, they found Molotov cocktails and a sawed-off shotgun. Officers are now working to get a search warrant to go through his apartment. Street racing was also a big problem in Portland last weekend. Look at what happened near Northeast 72nd and Sandy. Yeah, that is somebody shooting a flamethrower in the middle of the street. We talked to one neighbor who says he heard engines revving, people yelling, and fireworks going off all night long. He says he called Portland police, the non-emergency number, and was placed on hold. Later, dispatch told the man not to call back, adding police were already aware of the situation.
You can't just let a group of people who are engaged in lawless behavior take over a section of your city. That makes no sense.
Because of the number of shootings Sunday night, police told us they didn't have enough officers to respond to those street racing calls. Well, tonight we are airing a new series. It's called Uncommitted. We're digging into why some people with severe mental illness don't get treatment and how our community suffers because of it. Here's investigative reporter Evan Watson.
This week on KGW, we're looking at our mental health care system and why some people with severe mental illness can fail to get the help that they need. When someone refuses treatment, they must be deemed dangerous enough to themselves or others to warrant a forced hold. Even if doctors and behavioral health workers say mental health care and treatment and housing is desperately needed, most people are released from care. Then it can be very difficult for someone to get the help on their own.
I don't know if I would be alive, and it's hard to know what would have happened if somebody hadn't stepped in. I know my life would be a lot different.
Our investigative series, Uncommitted, continues with personal stories of people who have experienced this civil commitment process. Watch tonight at 6 on The Story.